RAWR. So today I am going to do YPP. For anyone who doesn't know what that is Yoho Puzzle Pirates. Yoho Puzzle Pirates turned 10 this year. I have played Puzzle Pirates on and off again for 8.5 out of those 10 years, possibly 9. I can't remember exactly how long. Anywho, started playing it way back in the day when I was a teenager. Um, for anyone who doesn't realize it, I might look like I'm a kid, kind of ish, maybe. Everyone says I look really young, but I'm actually almost 30. So, yeah, surprise. Anyway, the main thing is back to the RAR. I tend to wander on tangents, sorry. So YPP, when I first started doing it, my brother was into it. We had just stopped playing pogo games, where all you do is, play chess with someone or play, cards and everybody can talk with each other and stuff. And we went into the lovely world of playing with other people and doing like something together. And Yoho Puzzle Pirates is literally what it sounds like. You are a pirate and you do puzzles to accomplish things. So it was really neat in that the puzzles are actually very competitive. If you're good at a puzzle, you go up in rank versus everyone else in the oceans. Um, and then there's actually a big giant map where you sail from island to island. The puzzle that you do impacts the ship. Say if you are sailing or rigging, that adds speed to the boat. But the boat can't go very fast at all if the bilge is full. But the bilge will keep going up if no one is carping or doing that new puzzle that they put out that I have only played once because it was insanely easy. I think it's patching. Anyway, so unless you're doing stuff to take care of the ship on all of the different levels, you're not going to get anywhere. Plus, also, other ships can attack yours, or you can attack them. It can be other players, or it can be just, everyday pirates and brigands, or it could be evil, brigand king, or things like that. The graphics are definitely 2D, like, like, like Maple Story bad, but at the same time that's kind of good because they can do a lot with that. You get to have a house, you get to have your own ships, you can have your own armada, your own island if you really get good enough. You can be a king or a queen. You can own buildings and shops. I have a tailoring shop that I've had for years that literally all I do is once a week go pay the rent on it because one of my friends who still plays YPP uses it as a personal closet, and I just happen to have a billion zillion pose, which is pieces of 8. Pieces of 8 are the in-game currency for generalized things, and then there's doubloons, unless you're on a subscription one, which I don't know why anyone would be comparatively. Anyway, but the doubloons are called dubs, and you can trade dubs and pieces of 8 back and forth and all that kind of stuff. They've always had that mechanic. That seems to be that other games are starting to come out with that like it's a new thing and stuff. YPP's had that for years and years. Anyway, but the main thing is basically the game. It's gotten older. There's still a decent fan base to it, but it's definitely gotten smaller than it has been in the past. They're finally putting out a Kraken, or a Kraken, whichever way you like to say it. But either way, there's been Kraken's blood in the game since day one. Just now, 10 years later, they're adding Krakens. Anyway, I have said for years that they need to have a Kraken, and you like sword fight each tentacle, or each pirate gets to something. It would be fun. A Kraken, one giant monster to slaughter all. I think it would be cool. Anyway, there's sea monster hunts, there are haunted isles, there are cannibals on. You can get pets, you can get familiars that sit on your shoulders and stuff. There's poker in the game and all that kind of thing. There's puzzles for all the different craftings. Literally everything that there is in the game gets made by someone in a store, and some pirate somewhere owns that store and has people that they hired to work in the store. I mean, it's all intricate. It all goes together, and it works really well. My RAWR with Puzzle Pirates is, in the 10 years that it has existed, they've only added new hairstyles once, that I am aware of. And I've played it for forever, on and off again, though. On and off again, so I don't, like, play it all the time and stuff. Every once in a while I get a nostalgic hankering and I go play a puzzle or something. The other thing is, honestly, it feels really dumb in a lot of ways. Like, when you walk around with your puzzle pirate, it's not actually fun to walk around. It's much funner to just hit a store and teleport there. It is not fun to actually explore the islands by walking around and stuff. And for things like foraging or zombie hunting or skeleton hunting, things like that where you have to walk around, it's kind of almost irritating rather than fun. So walking around is not very fun on the game at all. The gameplay and stuff is actually decently fun, especially if you like puzzles and you like having your own cosmetic costumes to yourself and things like that. I mean, anyone who likes cosmetics, who likes their character looking a certain way, should play Guild Wars 2 or YPP or games like that. Maple Story, things where all you're doing, almost everything you do leads toward you dressing your character up, getting cool items, getting fun pets, you know, all that kind of a thing. The home instance in Guild Wars 2, literally you don't really get to do anything with it. You don't get to decorate it. You don't get to nothing. In Puzzle Pirates, you get to paint the walls. You get to choose what decor is in there or not. You get furniture. There's shops for building the furniture too. You know, it's pretty cool that way. There is just, you know, obviously the 2D graphics, and for being as old of a game as it is, it actually, in my opinion, is still a pretty good game, still does pretty well. So, I mean, I have to really, really love a game to go back and play it over and over again if the graphics hurt my eyes. And YPP's graphics doesn't actually hurt my eyes, but I'm just saying it's not the kind of graphics that I usually look for in a game. But, I mean, I won't even play WoW graphics. WoW graphics to me are just atrociously bad. Like, they're so blocky. Everybody is talking about WoW and Pandaria, and I watched my brother play that for a couple hours, and I was like, this is completely stupid. For one thing, it's so racist. My best friend lives in China. Every woman in China does not wear chopsticks in her hair, and the pandas are so freaking kitty looking. They look like they were designed for an 11-year-old. On YPP, it looks like it was designed for an 11-year-old overall, and yet it can still be fun for adults. Pandaria, I don't understand at all how it's fun for anybody from the looks of it. And all the monk says over and over again is, no energy out of it. But I did not actually play it. I watched other people play it. But the only thing I would RAWR that I want YPP to do is, since they have been around so long and finally they put in a Kraken, that's awesome, but they need to do something to stand out or change some of their, like, make the animals more interactive, like your pets, funner to have. Make, you know, them, that you could teach your pets tricks, or that you could do battles with them, or you could, you know, ride the horses. They have a saddle and a bridle, but you can't actually ride them. Don't know. Make it so that, you know, when people are out doing puzzles and stuff, that there's more ways to increase your stat in the puzzle. That you instead of having to sword fight in the inn, and that's the only way you can increase your sword fighting skill. Why can't you increase your sword fighting skill when you're fighting pirates? Why can't you increase your sword fighting skill when you're doing CIs? Why can't you, if you beat your opponent, Why can't that increase your sword fighting skill? Or your, bludgeons. Rumble. Actually, Rumble is one of my favorite puzzles in the whole of YPP. When you're doing treasure hauling, you can only do it in sea monster hunting, or if you happen to get a, basically, the same thing as with foraging, except foraging, you can actually take a ship out to an island and someone can forage. And so you have the option, if you have a labor badge, to do foraging without ever having gone on a CI, and without ever having gotten an expedition for that. On Treasure Haul, you have to get an expedition or you have to go on a monster hunt. So more options for doing the puzzles in more places. Like, why isn't there some bad guys that the way you beat them is by out making rum, or out doing, blacksmithing? I would think if they've got Vikings in the game. Nordics are totally obsessed with beer and with, well, ale, and with, foraging. So, forging, not foraging. So why wouldn't you work the forge? Why wouldn't you make ale as a competitional thing against them? Not as, I realize it would be kind of hard to be like, okay, each person has to do this much, this much, this much. Maybe you could shorten the puzzle so they're not as long as actual crafting, so that, people aren't there all day waiting for one person to finish their rum, something like that. I mean, but make it so that it doesn't feel like you have to do isolated things to be able to do anything at all. Anyway, that's my RAWR for YPP. For the most part, it's still actually a pretty good game. Again, if you like puzzles at all, or if you want a game that's decently clean for like little kids, have them play YPP, totally free. They make their little pirate and go yar and get to have fun. Other than that, just RAWR and enjoy your day. Goodbye.